Laxus and Wahl's battle to this finally begins. We also have a slight hint of what Dimaria's power could actually be, and not to mention as well, we've got Urza and everyone else heading down to deal with those other two Spriggans. Yep, it's time to talk about that Fairy Tail chapter 472 right now. So getting to start off this chapter, which is straight into the Laxus versus Wahl battle, just seeing them going at like animals, and even like Wahl is like surprised, like how is this guy even still alive right now? Analyzing him, seeing all these magicals inside of him, is like, yeah, this guy's a monster right now. And he's like, yeah, I've got out my tactics, even like transforming his arm into make fire and blast, trying to do all this kind of stuff to him, and he's still trying to go. I'm not gonna lie, Laxus going around, and it's just like, I like the little cheesy line in the grain saying, yeah, like whenever you're around Magnolia, there's always a slight change of weather to Laxus like that. Like, I really thought that was a little bit cheesy. And then he was like, oh, followed by rain and ice, because him and Julia did a technique trying to go take on the Spriggan Warriors, like, as well going for that. And although we do get to see, like, from what we didn't get to see too much about the Sheria, Wendy, and Charlotte fight between what was going on with Dimaria, there is big questions. A lot of people saying, like, what exactly her power is. And one thing that's going to be cool, and I'm definitely going to be talking about this probably on tomorrow's, like, a chapter review as well, like, talking about the discussion, is that from what it seems like, it actually seems to be an ability to slow down time, or actually just stop time fully and able to move around, because this would probably explain a lot of things about how she's been able to like slice their clothes up. Maybe she's just been doing that to jokes and saying like, oh, I can kill you guys in an instant, literally, and saying like, although it would look like an instant to you. So it definitely seems like Dimaria, like, she takes like a very slow time, like maybe she just slows down people's perspective of time. Like, there's a lot of stuff into it, and I don't want to go prior on it too much, because that's pretty much going to be the whole discussion of like tomorrow's discussion, because yeah, basically that sounds like a lot of interesting stuff, and I don't want to like spark down the entire video down with like 9 minutes extra footage of just me talking about, oh, this might be the power. But we're going to be getting straight more into the chapter. Although there was some little few jokes here and there about like she was like trying to borrow like one of Wendy's shirts, and she was like, oh, why is it so tight? And like Wendy's like, oh my god, no, she's caught me flat by accident, oh dear god. And honestly, throughout the entirety, like, yeah, being surprised, Laxus versus Wahl was continuing going on. They were going at like animals. I thought they were just going from the rooftops, flashing right down there, like going all around. He's like, yeah, Laxus wasn't taking this like down at all. He was willing to fuck this stuff, whilst like Kagura, and not to mention Ursa, they're like, listen, we've got like Wendy and all that, they're dealing with Dimaria right now. We've got that. Laxus is dealing with, you know, the Alchemist right now. We get to see him dealing with Wahl. Now there's two other people right there. Me and you, like Urza, we're going to have to go down there and deal with it. So definitely that is something to be very feared of right now, because we still got two people down there that haven't even moved out yet. And it's like, can even Urza, who's injured, and not to mention Kagura as well, can they even really take down these other Spriggans that we've got? Like, we still haven't seen like their full arsenal. I mean, Dimaria has just been playing around with them, and she hasn't even released her truth out. Like, this is the thing though, like, how is she even going to combat that, like, while we're dealing with that? And not to mention as well, Urza's still being like injured. Not to mention as well, Lax is being like having all the anti-magical particles, like, you know, having like as well Natsu out there, you know. Definitely is there showing that like Fairy Tail is very down on their numbers, very down on morale. Not to mention as well, like, there's just so much shit going on right now, and it just makes me think like, if Natsu was there joining with them, like, how much of an easier time would they be having? Would like Natsu be already at the pier right now, be fighting with them, or would he be doing something else? Like, would he just like have left them either way? Like, kind of curious about that. Not to mention as well, we do finally get to see Wahl going into his attack mode, finally firing off a blast, hitting Laxus, and realizing that, you know, with his weakness magic, I'm guessing as well, like his heart staying playing up. And this is one thing that like he's noticed as well. It's like, I had to go full out. He noticed that I kind of do respect that Wahl. He's like, okay, literally, like, this guy's strong, even with all this anti-like magic stuff going around in his body. I can't take any chances. I ain't just gonna be joking around with that. I'm going to fall into full attack mode, transform into his badass mech form. I gotta say, I love that. It's like, when we saw like his fake body and all that, that was kind of a really cool form that he had when he took all that electricity and all that. Like, that really looked badass as hell, like when he first activated it. And I gotta say, definitely with his weakness magic, we're going to be seeing that, because he was even doing stuff like, he was like combining stuff from like the ground and the air, like he was combining like carbon and stuff like that, making like these little 9mm, although Laxus had to put in some effort just to even try and take them down. Like, I do appreciate that this guy, like Wahl, is something not to be messed with, and that's something that we've been wanting to see a long time with like the fairy tale villains, and I'm hoping like maybe we might find a little bit about him. I hope we might get a little like flashback. Why does he keep doing this to the body? How did he first discover it? Like, I hope we do get a little bit more on that, because we did find out about Brandish, although we didn't find anything about Argyle at all. I'm hoping that at some point at the time we actually find out a little bit about these characters and find out a little bit more about why they're following him, like why are they following Zara. There's a lot of things to be questioned about what's going on right now, and honestly with like the final pages of like Laxus now seemingly like his heart seems to be giving way. Does that question, you know, is Laxus going to die in this latest arc? Like, is he going to finally pass away? A lot of people have been very skeptical and all that, but then I've had to remind people in the discussion as well, we have seen people die before in Fairy Tail, and not to mention, although Ultia didn't die, that's pretty much worse than die what she had to deal with, and honestly, I feel really bad for Ultia going through that. But don't forget, Simon, he was a guy to die. He did die in Fairy Tail, although that was a very long time ago. We have seen other characters die throughout the series as well. So, you know, don't back off, like, that would be a very good thing if, like, it had, like, circled around from, like, all of Laxus' development throughout the entirety of the series, and he finally, you know, he did one big sacrifice just to take down one of these Spriggans with him, like, he grabbed him and all that, and he just released all his Lacrima. Although the next chapter's been called Red Lightning, so that is barely a question, like, is it speculating that, you know, like blood as well, like involved in that with Red Lightning? Is this like particularly like mentioning a new form for Laxus? Is he going to absorb the stuff that he's got into him? Like, you know, he could potentially do something, although we haven't seen that from a second generation Dragon Slayer. We haven't seen that anyone from Lacrima, so I am kind of curious what exactly are they going to be doing with this situation. Like, what does Red Lightning mean? Does this also could mean that, you know, the fight could end next week? Because it definitely sounds like it is still going to be focusing on the Laxus fight, so there's a lot of bit of questions about, like, does that mean Laxus is going to win? Does it mean he's going to die? Like, there's a lot of questions. You can't really go too much on the entirety of it, like if it's just on a chapter title, but I feel like you can get a good question what's going to be involved. Obviously with like last week's chapter being called Laxus versus Wahl, this one Red Lightning, it could either have something to do with blood, it could be a new technique or something like that. Who knows? There's a lot of questions where, like, if it's a new technique that's going to be awesome, would that be enough to take down Wahl? Don't forget that, like, some people like, oh, these fights are very fast paced. Fairy Tail fights have normally been about 2, 3, even 4 chapters long for a lot of the characters and all that. So, like, don't be shocked when, like, most fights are kind of short down. Only a couple of them are kind of like, a lot longer than you can normally see. So I'm kind of curious, like, what is going to be happening in next week's chapter. Although this was definitely a very hype and exciting one. Really loved every moment that we saw with Wahl. Like, honestly, his powers of weakness really interest me. Like, he's able to summon stuff from the ground, using them as bullets. Not to mention why he has this attack form and he's willing to go full out. He respects Laxus' opponent really. Like, I'm going to go full out. I'm not going to joke around. Although, how is Laxus going to overcome this? Not to mention with his heart as well. Like, with everything in his body giving out on him. We'll honestly have to wait and see. But I don't think, like, after this fight, he's not really going to see any more action after this arc. So, honestly, this may potentially, if this is the last arc in Fairy Tail, this could potentially be the last time we see the Laxus in a fight in the series, let alone if he actually dies. Overall, I give this one 8.5 out of 10. Really enjoyed this chapter. Cannot wait for next week one. Hope it's either a good conclusion or a nice continuation to the fight. We'll honestly have to wait and see. But that's all from me. I want to thank you much for watching as always, and I'll see you guys next time. And you want to leave a cheeky little subscribe for some more Fairy Tail videos, that'll be appreciated as well. Have an awesome day, guys. Take care.